welcome to Germanna Today. I'm Ashley Anglin, professor of Spanish, and with me is my co-host Cheryl Huff,
Yes.
professor of everything, but especially humanities and sometimes
Humanities
English.
and English, yeah.
And we're happy here in the Germanna tribe because we've just celebrated another wonderful graduation.
Yay, spring
So
graduation.
yes, spring graduation. So congratulations to all our recent graduates. And we have some video we can look at from the wonderful ceremony that we just had.
I think we both agree it was a great graduation.
It was an
this
extra
year.
special one.
Yeah.
Or who you want to be. Now try and imagine overcoming it and accomplish your goals in spite of that insecurity, even though it may seem impossible. Think of all the possibilities that exist on the other side of that self-doubt.
So I say to you, as you leave this particular plane of life right now, to find your dharma, your purpose in life, your God-given uniqueness in life, and try not to let your mind play games on you. You got a good mind, now make sure you got good sense. And so a final saying from Gladys P. Todd: always cheer the hardest, the longest, the loudest when you're losing. One more time. Always cheer the hardest, the loudest, the longest when you're losing. So hold each other up. Gladys P. Todd and I wish you Godspeed in your life.
Well, I have to say that was one of my all-time favorite graduation speeches that we've had at Germanna. I just loved her, and probably the very best hair of any graduation speaker we've ever had. But
And the
yeah,
energy in the room.
it was.
The crowd loved it.
Yes,
We loved it.
Yes, it was
So
quite a
much
night.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're really proud of the Gladys P. Todd students.
Absolutely.
And we have one with us today. This is Jason Gonzalez,
Hi, good morning.
who was in fact my student in the very first semester of his 2 years going through the academy process. I taught his class for Humanities 100, and I had both the incoming students and the seniors, and with 58 students in the room. It was an ever-changing adventure. But I'd really like to hear Jason's experience of what went on. How did you find your first semester
It was definitely an experience, that's to say the least. It was kind of an eye-opener because I didn't realize how much work it was going to be going into a dual enrollment class. Definitely a lot of patience and a lot of time management, that's the big one. But it was cool getting to know not only my peers, but also those who came before me. And the professors, way cooler than a teacher at high school, I'm sorry about that. But it was cool, fun, and definitely educational,
Right.
to say the least.
Right. Is there anything that you would say to incoming Gladys P. Todd candidates about how they should start off? You know, there's a Scottish expression from when I lived in Scotland, begin as you mean to go on. And so sometimes starting in a certain way can help you be sure that you're going to carry on and go through and continue. Is there any particular advice you would give incoming students about how they should start in the experience?
Start by making some friends, and
Yeah.
also by getting all of your syllabi and putting them on a wall or somewhere where you can easily see them, so you don't get any assignments that are way past due.
Right.
That's definitely a good idea. And by making some friends, then you guys can you can work together and make sure that you don't forget anything, or if anything big is coming up, you can work on it together. So.
Right.
I think that's all, not just Gladys P. Todd, that's
Right.
all our students. Those are two of the top things I would recommend as well.
And we had a student actually say, read the syllabus. That's, for us, that warms our little hearts completely. I know in our class, I had you form houses and create bonds together. And then we did some of the assignments in groups.
So for our viewers, houses like Slytherin
Yes,
and Gryffindor
yes,
and Ravenclaw.
but they got to
again.
pick their own
Okay.
names. They got to pick their members. It had to have both juniors and seniors in the class.
Nice.
Our freshman and sophomore, depending on how we
First year
refer
and
to them.
second year.
First year and second year. But they got to name their house. They had to create a motto.
Uh-huh.
They had to create a flag based on having watched Roman Mars, what makes a great flag.
Okay.
And the creativity just blew me away. They
Yay.
came up with some really exciting and interesting.
So what house were you in?
I don't quite remember the name. I know it was, our motto was the Harvard motto, and I thought that was kind of cool.
Very aspirational.
Yeah, but that was actually a great idea to have the houses, because that's what initiated making a group. And actually, those people that I was in the group with were the ones that I carried on throughout the program.
Right.
So
Very
I think
interesting.
that
Okay,
was cool.
so the house scheme worked. That is the intention
Scheme.
at Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge.
Yeah.
It's why they have a house system, so that you do create a learning community. We call them learning communities, and you can do it in any class, and you don't have to call it a house. But it's definitely a way to get incoming, and also to have the older students feel like they were in a mentoring role. So that was crucial
I
too.
think that's really neat that you're doing that in this kind of a high-touch class when it's really touted to do it in online courses,
Right.
so that people will feel connected. But yeah,
But even so,
of
yeah,
course, that's
especially
the main thing. Community college, it's the main thing.
it's in our name.
It's the main thing.
Also with us today is Fred Jerman, who's the head of the Sunshine Baseball League, which helps us find great candidates for the Gladys P. Todd Academy. Fred, could you explain a little bit about what the Gladys P. Todd Academy is and does at Germanna?
It's a duly enrolled program that Ms. Doris Buffett sponsored to give underserved and first-generation children the opportunity to attend college.
First generation meaning no one in the family has gone to college previously.
That's one of the criteria, but it may not be the only criteria for being in the
But to
program.
reach out and help, right, those families that may not have, college may not have been in their sights before, to give them that opportunity.
It gives them such a great opportunity with the mentoring and the tutoring to get a great foundation they'll need to continue their education.
Not all families believe their children are college candidates, but when they find out about programs like this, bringing in the Spotsy and James Monroe students to our campus, what are they provided with in terms of their support?
Well, Ms. Buffett made certain that they had all of the supplies they need. When I say supplies, like a computer that they can take to their four-year school, calculators, and the tutors and everything to be successful.
Okay, that's fantastic. They also come by bus from their high school
The bus
to our campus.
The bus will pick them up every morning from their high school and bring them to Germanna and take them back. The first year I would rotate and meet the kids when they got on the bus either at Spotsylvania or at James Monroe the entire semester.
Oh wow, that's real support. You always knew Mr. Fred was there waiting for you, right?
Right.
Yeah, good.
So for those that might not know, these are high school students, high school juniors and seniors, correct, who are taking college courses to get through a Germanna degree at the same time.
And that is correct. And they also balance activities like baseball and football, and for the young ladies, volleyball or tennis or any other sports they want to do, or other interests in extra school curricular activities at the high school
So
level.
really they're learning to be successful in a four-year college, successful in the
Exactly.
world.
Right.
I'm a personal friend of Doris Buffett's, and I recall just sitting in her living room and she wanted to take on the challenge of the dropout rate in high school.
Right.
And so that's how she started getting a steering group together to formulate the Gladys P. Todd.
Did you think this was going to be something that would actually come to fruition and you'd be sitting next to a recent grad of the Gladys P. Todd Academy?
Well, I really did,
You
because
really
there
did.
was such a strong team put together
yeah.
of people who were willing to work in different capacities to make this a success. And I'm sitting beside a success.
Exactly. Exactly. What were the overarching goals that she had initially in the very beginning? For the
Initially,
program?
exactly what has happened to come to fruition. She wanted students like Jason to get an opportunity as a first-generation student to graduate, and also the kind of person that has the integrity, morals, values, and drive to be successful.
Right.
Doris always said, it's a hand up, not a handout.
Yeah, absolutely.
For
I
sure.
think that's so important, the notion of not just learning a bunch of stuff to pass a test and get a grade, but, you know, building oneself into the kind of citizen, right, that the
educated
country really needs, yeah.
Yeah, I agree,
Yeah, so it's
absolutely.
an excellent mission, and I'm really happy
Right.
to see, yeah.
We had a student from the Gladys P. Todd who had graduated, and he helped with Sunshine Baseball. And when he was leaving, he was going off to West Point.
Wonderful.
And I told him, I need somebody of your caliber. Well, he sent me somebody above his caliber. He sent me Jason. Jason was just phenomenal.
No pressure.
No pressure. And he came and just was phenomenal. He became a leader right away in training others and setting things up. So responsible that I could go off and drink my Mountain Dew because I knew he had it.
Exactly.
Thank you, Mr. Fred.
Yeah. And at some point, he's going to have to call me Fred.
I know it's hard to
He's
transition
a college
that.
graduate now.
Yeah, wow.
Exactly.
That's okay. It's nice to be respectful at the
Yeah,
same
that's,
time.
that's my
Yes,
excuse.
you're
I always
doing
have to
great.
say Mr.
That
or
just-
Mrs.
Right.
I always call her Dr. Anglin.
Means you were raised properly.
Yeah.
I don't know what your excuse is.
Mom did a good job.
So tell us a little bit about your connection with mentoring in the baseball team. Were you a baseball player before? Were you?
I was an assistant coach a few years ago for the Sunshine Ballpark, and training the little kids to play baseball was so fun because they're like, oh, I don't know what to do. I have all this energy and I want to run, but I don't know when to do it. So getting them to calm down and to think of what to do next was definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But as a employee at the ballpark, training the new workers, it not only strengthened my knowledge of what to do, but it also kind of created a bond with the people I'm working with.
Yeah.
So overall, good experience.
It's amazing to be gaining that kind of leadership skills at such a young age.
Yes.
One of the things that I enjoyed is when Jason and his group would be working, parents would ask me where these young people came from. And I said, when we get a break, go ask them. And they were so amazed that to find out that they were in college, in high school, and their GPAs. And then parents would always say, how do I get my child in it?
Nice. Yeah, I do feel like the word is going to continue to spread, you know,
Oh,
when
yeah.
people see these awesome success stories.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's next for you, Jason?
University of Virginia.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yep.
What are you going
Big-
to study? Do you know?
Biology.
Awesome.
The goal is to become a dentist.
Wow.
So I definitely want to work hard and make that happen. So.
Jason told me from the very first week that he was going to be a dentist, and I
Okay.
had absolutely no doubt. And I also think it helps that he has great teeth.
I was going to say, got the
Yes.
smile going
He's
for
got
you.
the smile, and I just to find somebody coming in who knew what he wanted to do, had that kind of focus, had
For
that kind of
first
maturity.
generation students, that's not a common
I
story.
was,
Yeah.
I was just, I thought, yeah, he's going to do it. I have no doubt. One day he'll be my dentist.
And I would never want to be a dentist, so God bless you.
I can say that too. I'm glad somebody wants to be a dentist.
No, I think that's a great job.
Right.
And, if you love working with young people and people of all different backgrounds, I think, those are
Yeah,
humanities will help as a
exactly.
dentist.
There you
Critical
go.
thinking,
Right?
decision making.
Right?
Yeah. So, what are your plans to get to UVA? Are you in the works?
Yeah, so right now I'm processing. I'm trying to get enrolled in my classes, and I also want to get a dorm. I have a lot of great people like Mr. Fred, and they're trying to help me along with the
Right.
process to make this easier.
Good.
So I'm definitely on the way to UVA.
Okay,
That's
great.
wonderful.
I have a son who's off to college in the fall, and I know how challenging all the paperwork is, negotiating the website, asking questions, finding the right person who can give you the right answer, checking their Facebook page, then checking their website, then going into
Yeah.
their SIS version, and so I think, wow, I'm an experienced college advisor, and I still find this challenging. So I'm happy to help you too anytime you need it, but I know that it just takes a lot of time and effort and energy. But I'm sure when you get there, you'll have good advisors as well.
A lot of work, a lot of information you got to fill out, but once you're done, it's worth it. So.
That's right. And then
Are you looking forward to the on-campus experience now that you've had the community college for 2 years experience commuting to school?
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited. It's UVA is a huge campus.
Yeah.
So many people there. And I can't wait to meet them and become friends and create groups.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to have groups for individual classes too.
Sure.
So some of the things that I can
and
take.
a house and a motto for each one.
So I'm definitely going to take some of the things I learned from your class
Yeah.
and create like group chats or something.
Right.
Work. So.
Yeah. Yeah, study groups are essential.
Oh,
I
yeah.
could not have gotten through ancient Greek, my first master's degree, if I didn't have a study group, because they would like urge me. I would say, "Oh, I can't do it today," and they'd say, "Yeah,
Yes,
show
you
up,
still
just show up."
can.
Yeah. So for college, it's actually a lot easier. I know when my nephew was at University of Mary Washington, they could do it at 10 o'clock at night in the common room.
Sure.
Whereas with Germanna, you'd have to all drive somewhere.
That's
or something.
definitely, yeah.
But
an
when you live on
advantage at a
campus, you can just
residential school.
hang out in your pajamas and do your studying together, or whatever time
That's
works
cool.
for everybody.
No, I
So
feel like that,
that.
was one of the best times of my life as an undergrad, like that you always had your house and you could
Yes.
hang out with them. And
Yes. That'll be a nice
Yeah,
change.
so-
So what's coming up for the Gladys Todd Academy? What are the ambitions for what comes next for the program?
To continue getting the caliber students like Jason, and to make sure that the mission of Ms. Buffett is adhered to, and that her dreams are continued
Right.
through students like Jason. But it's so crucial and imperative that the community now takes a look at how they can give back
Yeah.
to Ms. Buffett's dream.
I agree.
So that's very important.
Right. This has to become something that everyone in the community
Has to
now
embrace.
lifts up and supports in some way, whether it's through business connections or whether it's through donations, contributions, scholarship development. I would imagine that would all be part of what needs to happen.
Certainly.
Yeah.
So if someone watching today wants to find out more about how they could make a link or contribution, where would they go to find that out?
You could go to the Germanna Community College website,
Just
and you'll pull up,
germanna.edu?
and you'll pull up Gladys P. Todd.
Okay.
Right.
And we'll show you how you can support them.
Excellent,
Terrific.
excellent.
Good. Good. Is the class already ready for the coming fall semester?
We are about to get together as far as for baseball. I was talking to Jason, and we're going to select, I need another Jason. And so he has already
Right.
put that in place, so we're going to meet with them. I know they're extremely excited, the next cohort too. At graduation, I was just so, at my heart, feeling so great about it. I like to tell the story of when Mike Zitz and I went down to one of Jason's friends' community, and he said, "I can't believe y'all came to my hood." And we watched him play basketball, and that was like
Right.
like we live in Chicago.
Yeah.
And so we went and talked to his mother and said, "Would you like to get your son in the Gladys P. Todd program?"
Yeah.
And the first thing she said, "I don't have any money. I can't do that." And so we told her it would be at no cost to her because Miss Buffett has got the cost.
Yeah.
And he would get a computer and a calculator
Right.
and transportation back. He likes to play basketball.
Right.
And they bond a good friendship.
Yeah.
But when I was sitting at graduation and I watched the look on his face from that boy we saw
Wow.
in the hood, as he
Yeah.
called it, this proudness, how he was saying. This is college graduates, thanks to you guys.
Yeah, that's amazing. And to hear, you know, the kind of speech that Gaia
they gave.
Degbalola gave about, you know, lifting people up and equality, social equality and stuff, that must have been just
Oh, I've been a personal
Amazing
friend
moment.
of Gay's for 30 years. And she would come to the baseball games and
Oh, that's
support that
awesome.
way too, and just
Yeah.
so proud. And I know her mother would be so proud
Yes.
of what this is doing.
Yes. Well, and when she spoke to us, she said she knew she wasn't here in her own right, which I don't think was correct, but that she was here because she was the daughter of Gladys P. Todd. So
But I also love that she said she talks to her mom
She-
all
yes,
the time.
yes, and that
she-
that was
and
the
then she- And I
basis
felt
of
like
her
she was
speech.
there with us.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I
Very
also
cool.
felt like Mrs. Buffett was with us because she's always sort of with us too. I know when I was teaching the students for the Gladys P. Todd Academy, I always had her like in the back of my mind, like, you can do this. She's got your back.
Yeah, well, and you as
So-
a humanities professor, maybe you have that advantage because you're always thinking, you know,
Right.
to
Yeah.
greats of the past,
Right.
and yeah.
Well, and helping
And
them
there are-
understand how all these connections that we have in our community, in our world, you know, across everything, literature,
right,
music,
right.
art, you know, this,
Yeah.
and you're part of it too with languages
That's-
and
yeah.
developing cultures. That, you know, this isn't just, your hood is not just your world.
Right.
Your
That's
world
right.
is the world. You're
That's
part of the
right.
world. You're going out now into the big world.
Yeah.
And you know a lot about it. Do you remember when we went down to VMFA, the
Yes.
Virginia Museum of Fine Arts in Richmond? It
Oh,
was
yeah.
only like the second week of class, but the Candy Wiley exhibit was closing like that day, and I said, we have
Get
to
in
go.
there, yeah.
We have to get on the bus and go.
Wow.
And some of the students had never been to a museum.
Sure.
So it was a great new experience for them. I told them, you know, don't take your backpacks in with you, and some of them did anyway. And I said, you can't carry a backpack through a museum. You have to check it. And they
Check
said,
it.
well, how am I going to get it back? And I said, well,
Just
you
hadn't been through that experience before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, every step of the way, it opened a door for them that now they're museum fans, and they all came out saying.
Yeah.
So, what did you think of that exhibit?
I
I have a
thought-
great picture of you there.
Oh, nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I thought the exhibit was awesome, and the art was just amazing. But yeah, I didn't think about going to art museums or any sort of museum until we went in the humanities class, and now I go a lot, way more often, and I bring friends with me, and I think it's
Yeah.
actually interesting to look and see and think about what the artist was thinking when they created their art. But it's very fun.
And when you're on the campus of UVA, there's art everywhere
Right.
and architecture.
Yes.
All the classical architecture we
Well,
talked
yeah,
about from
goodness.
ancient Greece, the
Right.
pillars and the
The
columns.
different kinds of
and
columns, they're all
rotundas.
there,
And, right,
yeah.
you're going to be surrounded by it even more than ever.
Statue of Jefferson.
Yes.
Yeah, there's
Yep.
so
Yeah.
many statues there too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gonna be
and great museums. And
Cultural town.
galleries
Definitely.
Wow.
Wonderful. Great.
Well, you have a great future.
Yes.
Thank you.
And so does Gladys P. Todd Academy,
And Gladys
I
P.
think.
Todd Academy,
Absolutely.
for
And we're
sure.
so happy to be.
We can't wait to see the
Connected
next
with
batch
that.
graduate.
Yes.
They're
always.
coming.
They
Yeah.
are. They're coming for you.
They're coming. New
Wonderful.
ones and
Yes.
ready to go.
Yes. Well, thank you both
Good.
very much, Fred Jerman and Jason Gonzalez, for coming to talk to us about just such really great stories.
A powerful program we have in our community,
Absolutely.
for sure. We're lucky we have Mrs. Buffett.
Yes.
And that's who I'd like to thank
Yeah.
for the
Very good
opportunity
point.
Me
she
too.
gave
Yes, absolutely.
this
Thank
community.
you, Mrs.
Me too.
Buffett.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you.
definitely, yes.
I'm Ben. I'm a communications major. I got my start here at Germanna. The opportunities that this school offers is absolutely great. As soon as I stepped on campus, I felt very welcome. The staff, the students, the guidance counselors, everybody just created an environment that I can call home. Transferring from Germanna to Mary Washington was really simple and not complicated at all. Of course, everyone likes to save money. Tuition here is a third of what it is at a university, and the great thing is that you can transfer without debt. Germanna is the right first choice.
Welcome back. We had a great time hearing about the Gladys P. Todd Academy and the new graduates that we have.
Great stories.
Great stories. We're also going to be hearing next from Bruce Davis about work that the foundation is doing for scholarships for students, and a new scholarship that will be put out in the name of Jennifer Goonan, who tragically didn't make it to our graduation. Bruce will be explaining more about that.
I'm Bruce Davis, and I work for Germanna Community College. I run the Educational Foundation and the Real Estate Foundation. And the purpose of those two organizations is to support the mission of the college. So on the Educational Foundation side, we have about $6 million in endowed investments that the income and dividends from those investments provide scholarships for students at Germanna. And the Real Estate Foundation is an organization where people can leave us land in their wills, or they may make a taxable event donation of land to the college, which can eventually be used for the college. A good example of that is in the next year or so, there is going to be a career and technical school sponsored by or built by the Culpeper County Schools, which they're renting the land from the Real Estate Foundation, and so that CTE Center will be right next to the Daniel Technology Center in Culpeper. So that's a good example of how the land is being used to support the college. So at the Educational Foundation, we spend about $300,000 a year for hundreds of students to fill in the gap of monies that they need to attend Germanna Community College. So, and those scholarships are done in two different ways. There's endowed scholarships and there's pass-through scholarships. And then we also have our Germanna Guarantee program, which essentially is a pass-through. The endowed scholarships are gifts that people make, usually in memory of somebody that was a student or in the memory of somebody that was a faculty member that's passed away. A good example of that is we just recently started the Jennifer Fund, which is in memoriam of a student named Jennifer Goonan, who tragically was killed in an automobile accident on the day that she was to graduate from Germanna this past May. Jennifer worked 5 years in the food service industry to work her way, to pay her way through Germanna. And so her family, in meeting with them, felt that a great way to honor her memory would be to create an endowed scholarship. And that means the money that people donate is invested in the stock market and in the bond market, and the interest and dividend from those investments are what provide the scholarship money to students. And in this case, the recipient must be somebody that's in the food service industry, just like Jennifer was. So that's an example of an endowed scholarship. The other type scholarships we have are pass-throughs, and a good example of that, the First in Family Scholarship, and it's for first-generation college students from within the Germanna service area. And it's a pass-through, it's not an endowed scholarship. So this anonymous family donates money, and other people in the community donate money to it as well. And that money is it's not invested, it's automatically spent on students who are first-generation college students so that they can successfully get through their time at Germanna. Usually after their first year, the scholarship pays for part of their second year as well. And the whole point of it is to increase the number of collegiate graduates that are first in their family to attend college. So that's an example of a pass-through. It's not invested in the stock market, it's donated, and the scholarship committee spends it right away. So those are the two types of scholarships that we have.
Welcome back, and thank you so much to Bruce Davis and the Educational Foundation for all that you do for Germanna. It's really
We've had a great show.
Yeah, we have. We've had all kinds of graduation stories, ups and downs. We've talked about the education and scholarships, as well as the wonderful Gladys P. Todd graduates. We saw some clips from our really amazing commencement speaker.
Yes.
Yes.
I think it was the best graduation and in some ways the hardest.
Yeah.
But we will continue to see growth in the Gladys Todd Academy.
Yes.
As well as hopefully in our enrollment and
Right.
more graduates going into our community.
Right. Yes, this was really special to get to talk about kind of a lot of different aspects of of graduation and moving forward and all good things.
It's always the big reward for people like us who
Right?
have students in all our classes, and we get to finally see them walk across the stage and
Yes.
get their degree.
And we all wear funny hats.
And we wear funny hats. As do they.
All right, well, thanks for co-hosting again.
My pleasure, and thank you to Fred Cat,
beautiful
which is
Fred
part
Cat
of our workforce
in
division.
Central Park,
Germanna.
yes.
If people want to find out anything about any of the things we've talked about today, they should go to
www.germanna.edu.
That's right.
For more information, there's a little search window at the top, and you can find out about anything that we talked about
on
today.
our user-friendly website.
All right, and thanks to you for watching another episode of Germanna Today.